Oh, hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for ScubaRadio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling the radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that ScubaRadio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for ScubaRadio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome. This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Bubble Boy in the studio with us right now. CJ.
Aloha, Greg.
Running slightly behind because he has to wipe the grease from his cheeks on this Memorial Day weekend. Having his Memorial Day weekend hamburger, right?
Jesus. Thanks for sharing that with everybody.
What?
No, I was at a cookout. I was at a pool party / barbecue.
Eating a hamburger.
And, the grill was running a little late, so I wanted to make sure I at least ate before I showed up because I don't want to give any less than 100%.
Ground beef? That's all you got. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to give any less than 100% effort for this show.
All right.
And if I'm hungry, I can't do that.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. I get this.
It's all about protein. Come on, Greg. I thought you would know that.
Did you eat a wiener?
Jesus. No, I did not.
Okay. Barry the Bugger, I think, probably did that for Memorial Day weekend. That's what he does. He's with us, connected via the web. And he's wearing his red watch cap. I don't know. Did you have your hot dog on Memorial Day weekend or what there, Barry?
No, I haven't started grilling yet. I've already been told that I'm grilling tomorrow.
Aha. Okay.
But
slave to the master.
New shirt.
Yeah. Did you just change? Literally? You did that. Yeah.
No,
were you wearing that on the show?
Earlier. Yeah.
You were wearing that shirt earlier, were you?
Damn it.
The mind is the first thing to go.
Okay.
I brought the same shirt to change into.
Are you kidding?
That shirt's in my truck.
Oh, boy.
What a bunch of
We got a
weirdos.
new wardrobe here at Scuba Radio headquarters, thanks to our friends down there at the History of Diving Museum. We were down there in the Florida Keys.
Well, you can always spot radio guys because they're always wearing free T-shirts.
Correct. Yeah, but Lisa at the History of Diving Museum hooked us up. We're going to bring some of these shirts out to the Scuba Show next weekend and hand them out. But she said, here, you guys take your pick. And so we decided, all right, we're going to represent today. They're nice. They're very comfy.
Yeah, they're comfy. They're smooth.
Yeah, I think
soft.
they're made out of that recycled material stuff, too. So it's good for you and for the planet.
I think it's cotton, isn't it?
Wrong. That is incorrect, sir.
I donated my
fiberglass?
Recycled materials and stuff like that. I'm pretty certain about that.
Feels way too
I
comfortable.
believe it's recycled Copenhagen spit cans.
Casey, come on. That's disgusting.
Casey,
Do better.
the tobacco nut, knows nothing when it comes to fiber and clothing. But he can throw out his thoughts. That's fine. But we have him. We got Jerry the Diver Guy, who looks very puzzled on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch today.
Well, my computer took a crap on me today.
Well, what's new? It's like every other Saturday. Yeah.
I've had to resort to a different computer now.
Yeah.
Windows 95.
Exactly. He's finally caught up with the 90s. Yes. Fair enough. That's good. And then we got Vinny Two Tanks with us too, who
No, I'm not.
Vinny the Hemp Hut.
I mean, he had his own song last week.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
The legend of Vinny.
Number one with a bullet.
Waiting for the second verse.
Oh, Vinny boy.
Margarita Vinny.
It's worse than the first.
Vinny boy.
That's why I want to hear it.
I heard from somebody that the old Vinny boy knows what he's doing.
What do you mean?
Really?
Tell you later.
Why? You can't tell us.
Wish I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Let me know.
No,
I'm paraphrasing, but I'll tell you off the air.
Really? We can't talk about this on the air?
Okay.
Okay. And?
No, Brittany told me that she had been talking to Vinny.
The
and
Aqua Gypsy.
she asked him about his pressure gauge.
Okay.
And he said, old Vinny boy was up to something.
What do you mean?
Like that's how he was referring to himself as old Vinny boy.
Wait, so when Vinny was talking to the Aqua Gypsy, he referred to himself
I mean,
in
this
the
is all
third
like
person?
private conversations, but you're making me do this on the air.
Well, okay, so he referred to himself as old Vinny boy.
Yeah. Is that true,
Uses,
Vinny?
a mini
Well,
pressure gauge?
Yeah.
You prefer small things? Or
It's just an expression, you know.
old Vinny boy?
Old Vinny boy.
Is old Vinny boy high pressure?
Is it like old
No, it was
Vinny
just like, you know, he
boy?
was he did it.
She was admiring some of my equipment
Oh,
ideas.
there you go.
And-
No, he was.
And it was too small?
No, he was. She liked what he was referring to
Checking
himself.
for the full 3,000 psi, no doubt.
I think, okay, see what we're...
sick bastards.
Okay, so the gear we were using
I had some
last
good
week.
quality family entertainment, and you guys got to turn it rude.
Yeah, this didn't. We didn't capture this on the show that'll air
Unbelievable.
next Saturday, by the way. But
Thank
so you're
God.
well. I'm a little confused, but I think you're talking about the Shearwater Terex that we were diving with, and the fact that you need an external
I don't know.
pressure gauge.
It was a text. There was no visual.
Well, you needed one because I let you borrow a Terex,
But
and
I brought all my stuff. I wasn't sure what you needed.
right.
Pressure hose,
Yeah.
inflators. I've got 2 or 3 of each. So I
Shoes,
just brought
glasses.
Right.
so that I have them. No,
Yeah.
but I brought
do you mean?
everything.
Okay.
What do you mean extra pressure gauge? So
Well,
you have to
okay,
have an
so-
external gauge with this?
Right, yeah. So because, the Shearwater Terex has a wireless transmitter option that we were using, the Swift. So you buy the Terex and the Swift, which is the Swift is like the transmitter that
No,
Shearwater
bottom
sells.
line, I had a new reg set up, courtesy of Greg.
Correct.
And
The next dive reg.
And
but
it did
you
not have a pressure gauge attached.
Well, we had
so
because
we slap one on there.
you put the transmitter in the high pressure port,
Right.
and that gives you
Yeah,
a
I don't
wireless
have
thing.
that yet.
But what do you mean you don't have that? Yes, you do.
I don't have the Terex.
Yeah, that's what you used.
No,
I
it's
thought.
not. No. I use my old computer.
Oh, but so why did you need the pressure gauge? You had one, maybe. That's right.
Because there was none attached originally.
Oh, that's what it was. That's right.
Come on, Greg.
Okay, but what we were using the
Greg.
Terex is you have a wireless transmitter and.
But that's not
ideally-
what I was using.
No, right. I'll get back to that. But the reason we have a separate pressure gauge is a backup. So redundancy. So you can get like a mini pressure gauge. You can buy these things like on Amazon for like $50.
Oh yeah, you were talking about they're like 1 inch in diameter.
Yeah,
really
they're real
small
small.
ones.
You can tuck it away real easily. I actually have one, a mini pressure gauge connected directly to my first stage, so there's no hose.
Yeah,
So-
I've seen where I guess
Yeah.
you have more than one high pressure port you could use.
Right. On the next dive ones, you have that option for sure. Yeah. So the thing is, the only downside with that is I can look at, when the tank is on the, rack on a dive boat, I can see if my tank is full and that kind of stuff. Now, when I'm diving, I won't see that because I can't see behind my head, right?
That's
you
not
have
what
to
I was
rely
using.
on your buddy
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
No, you rely on the transmitter, and as long as the transmitter works fine.
You're almost empty. Head
no,
up. head up.
no, that isn't how it works, you big dummy.
okay.
And so, if you want to dive like that without a backup, that's fine. But if something were to happen and you lose your transmitter signal, all of a sudden now you don't know how much air you have in your tank, which could be a problem potentially. So what you do is you buy a mini pressure gauge, and I had one of those, and I let CJ use that because it was
It worked
was
great.
okay.
It worked
Yeah.
great.
But you had not.
But I brought
used-
it back because I think you said you needed it back. So
Yeah,
my truck's just loaded up. I've got like all
got
my
all
gear
your
in.
crap.
I'm like, I don't know what he needs. Just take whatever.
Well, we
you
just
need.
got to take your old pressure gauge from your old regulator and pop it on the next dive regulator system, which
There you
worked
go.
flawlessly for you, by the way.
It did. It was nice.
It was very nice. Breathed perfect, right?
May I ask you a question?
No.
No,
God, no.
damn it, Casey, no.
Can I just interject?
All right,
then?
real
This
quick,
isn't
real
the
quick.
question answer segment.
What do you got, Casey? What?
Well, I'm a little queried about the Terex system. Does it fritz out, or have you had it fritz out? Did you need a backup pressure gauge?
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but it's always good to have redundancy built into these transmitter things. That's what we're talking about. All right, we'll explain more on the other side. Stay close to the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Bula. You'll hear that a lot when you visit Fiji. It's more than a greeting. It's the spirit of this friendly country. With 333 islands, white sand beaches, and year-round tropical warmth, it's hard not to feel happy at this exceptional dive destination known as the soft coral capital of the world. Fiji Airways has a modern fleet of aircraft to take you to Fiji in style and at great prices. Contact your travel agent now or go to FijiAirways.com and plan your Fijian dive adventure. That's FijiAirways.com.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of Scuba Radio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures Scuba Radio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Hey, baby, what's going down?
Later, nerd.
Are you lacking with the ladies?
Nope.
Enhance your scuba superpowers with a new Scuba Radio hat.
Wow, nice hat.
Just picked it up at ScubaRadio.com.
Buy 2 Scuba Radio hats and get free shipping.
Need a dive buddy, sexy?
Always. And I got a Scuba Radio hat for you, too.
New Scuba Radio hats are now available at ScubaRadio.com.
So cool.
Order yours today, or stay a loser.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Jackie and Peter are fun. They go to concerts. They are both getting their scuba licenses.
Don't like scuba people. I'm a dry land guy.
I know how you feel about fish people.
No, fish people are the worst, okay?
Scuba, scuba.
I think you should give it to me.
Scuba, scuba.
What?
Scuba boy, won't you take me there too?
You know, baby.
Scuba boy, won't you take me there too?
That was a party.
Scuba boy, won't you take me there too?
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ and Bubble Boy are in the studio with me. And then we got a full crew connected via the web as part of the Scuba Radio Scuba Squad. That includes Jerry the Diver Guy, Vinny Two Tanks, Barry the Bugger, and Casey the Tobacco Nut, who was asking us about the Shearwater Terek dive computers, which are the, best of the best. I mean, you get a wireless transmitter with the Swift and the Terek, and they actually got a new computer that they just added the wireless option to, even more economical version. The Peregrine, I believe, is what it was. I might have that mistaken. But shearwater.com is the website to go to. They're going to be at the Scuba Show next week. But Casey was asking, why do you need the extra pressure gauge if you got this computer and stuff? And I'll tell you, the thing is, I've never had one of them fail on me. But what does happen, because these things are battery operated, the transmitters have a little battery in them that obviously can go bad. So like when we were in the Galapagos a few weeks ago, the Aqua Gypsy, her transmitter battery went south on her. It actually happened to me too, now that I think about it. And they give you plenty of warning when the transmitter battery goes low. So like if it happens halfway through a dive, you get an alert on your Terek, and it says, "Hey, warning, your transmitter battery needs to be replaced." They warn pretty early in the process. So you're never going to get caught, on a dive, be halfway through a dive, and then the thing just goes south on you and you can't monitor your pressure gauge. I've never had that happen. I mean, because the warning is really good. They've thought this stuff through. However, you're out on a dive trip and you get that warning and you don't happen to have the battery with you, then you're kind of screwed. And then what do? Well, if you have your backup pressure gauge, your redundancy for your dive system, that's why you would have an extra pressure gauge. But you get these little mini ones that are real small, and so you can say super streamlined, or you could even get one and just screw it right into the first stage. But that doesn't really help when you're on the dive. So like that's what I have, and I'd rather go back to a mini pressure gauge with a hose. Then you stuff it in your BC, or attach it real quick. I mean, easily and streamlined. You're good to go. Right?
That's not like you, though. You're like a Boy Scout. You're always prepared.
Well,
I would
What
imagine
do you
you would
mean?
have like 2 or 3 batteries on you.
I did. We didn't have that problem.
I thought you said it died on you.
No, I said the warning came up that the battery was low. But if you were out in the field and you did not have that battery,
hypothetical. If
yeah,
you didn't,
yeah.
But you did.
I always do.
Okay,
I don't travel without them. But
my faith has been restored.
Yes, always. But to be extra careful, should you have a little mini pressure gauge, I'd say that's probably a much better way to go about it, and that's what I do.
Yeah, if there's something you need to keep an eye on, it's your air.
Yeah, exactly. Casey, does that answer your question? Or now it's clear as mud, right? What do you think?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I agree with your theory, and press on with the show at your leisure.
Okay.
Please say yes.
We have his approval. Barry the Bugger has a question, or he wants to give us Scout's honor or something. I don't know.
Is the battery user replaceable?
Yes, of course.
Yes, Barry,
Well, no,
that's what he just said.
No, he didn't say
Listen,
that.
Barry, listen.
I did
Yes,
listen.
Barry, he did.
He did. He said he had batteries he could replace it. I wasn't sure whether it was user replaceable.
Yeah.
Some of them
up,
require
Barry.
special tools. Some
What
of them.
good would be having batteries to replace it with if you couldn't replace it, Barry?
You would hope the dive shop has the tool
Is
to
the
do
user
it.
of the battery
Yeah.
replaceable?
Oh, boy. Definitely.
Oh, boy.
And in Barry's case would be. What are you doing with your hat there,
Well,
Barry?
I figured I'd wear my scuba radio hat because we're in scuba radio. duty.
Okay. All right. He's representing.
Well, it looks like you may ought to adjust it or pull your beanie off.
No, I'm not pulling my beanie off. Beanie stays
Try
on.
wearing
during this
one
show.
hat at a time.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. He
Scuba
has
Radio
2 hats
yarmulke.
on for I think it might be a Memorial Day weekend thing.
The new fashion
Yeah.
trend.
He's worried
Yeah.
about iguanas crapping on his head.
Or
No, there are no more iguanas. I took care of that.
or getting a head cold. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, look, Barry's, he's kind of his own guy. Let him do him.
He's unique.
That's right. I am special.
Yes. Okay.
Special Olympics.
Well, today, we got a lot of stuff going on as we prepare to go to the scuba show, or at least I'm going. No one else in this crew today, except our special guests right now, are going to be at the scuba show in L.A. Next Saturday. Now, a little program note. Next week, next Saturday, we have to play a recorded show, which we've already done some of it in the Keys. You'll hear that Saturday. And then the week after that, 2 weeks from today, you're going to hear our thoughts on the scuba show, which is shaping up to be spectacular, by the way. New venue. They got some of the coolest stuff happening. They got a mechanical bull or a bucking shark. They got a bucking shark that they're going to have at the party Saturday night for divers to get on and get the crap beat out of them. This is going to be the best people watching ever.
So the next live show will be November 12th, 2029.
Something like that, yeah, because we got a lot of road work to do. But it's going to be fun. But we have a couple guests. We got Gil and Carly, who are giving seminars at the scuba show with us. Gil, let's go to you first. Okay. Welcome to Scuba Radio. Now, we had you on last year. You've done this at least 2 years, or probably more than that, at the Scuba Show, haven't you? Or what?
This is the second year at the Scuba Show, and I was on your show last fall when a dive buddy of mine was talking about Blue Friday the day after.
Yeah, exactly. Are we doing that again this year, or
we're going to do it again? The weather's always a crapshoot, but
right.
I'll talk to you in the fall about that.
I love that idea. Now, your seminar that you're doing at the show, though, is called what at the Scuba Show?
My seminar is called "The 12 Most Common Diving Injuries and How to Avoid Them."
Okay.
And I went to the show last year for the first time, saw you all there, and had a blast. Just walking around, meeting fellow divers, writers like me.
And when you met our crew, you added like 3 elements to the dive accidents to avoid, probably just by looking at our crew, is my guess. Is that a safe assumption?
Right. Yeah, but I met people like Carly last year, who's a fellow diver, and she's going to be presenting 2 seminars. But when I was pitching the producers of Scuba Show about a presentation or 2, I thought, this is a big scuba show, 10,000+ people or more.
And there's a lot of mistakes you can make. And you know what? I'll tell you, let's take a quick break, and we're going to get into some of these next and talk to Carly, too. That's coming up on the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Scuba action star Mike Scott is back in a new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From author Eric Douglas comes the one that started it all. Listen as Mike deals with submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface.
Download Cayman Cowboys or Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, and audible.com.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer. And Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Peregrine is a simple, full-color, multi-gas dive computer. It's also the most economical Shearwater dive computer released to date. Check it out and the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater. Dive computers for demanding divers.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
This group has sucked from the very start, from the teat of friendship.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Okay, so Scuba Show is next weekend in L.A. I cannot wait. We got so many great things planned. By the way, I found out the prizes we're giving away just in the morning to open the show Saturday morning are at another level. I mean, we got a trip for 2 to give away to Fiji. We have for the Saturday night party. I know Explorer Ventures has given me a trip, a liveaboard trip to give away to the Red Sea. We have Shearwater dive computer swag. We have a next dive. A dive package to give away valued at over $2,500. Look, the show opens a week from today, 10 a.m., L.A. time. Do not be late. You are going to want to be there before the show opens. And I'll tell you, they do such a great job at the event. Mark Young and his family, the gang that runs that show, it's spectacular. It's honestly, it's probably my favorite show of all of them every year. But they do such a great job. And give away stuff to people, like the first 25 people gets like a dive light or something, I think. You can go to scubashow.com for all the details. But literally, people start showing up for the Scuba Show like at 7:30 in the morning. It's insane. And they'll sit there and wait until the show opens at 10 a.m. I've never seen nothing like it. It is like a massive just a love fest of scuba divers and just waiting to get into the show to see what everybody is showcasing from around the world, and just a great event. And we are giving away a ton of stuff. But you can go there, take in all the exhibits. We'll get into some of the details. A couple other things, like the bucking shark is new. They got a new film thing that they're going to be doing. We'll talk about that a little bit later on the show today. But the big thing is you can go there and partake in some of these seminars, like Gil and Carly, who's our guest right now. They're going to be talking about some cool stuff. 10 or the 12 most common dive injuries that you can make while diving. That's Gil's thing. And by the way, Gil, can we give a couple of them out right now without going into too much detail?
I've been a diver for about 40 years, and I'm a very safe diver. But 11 of these 12 have actually happened to me. And the 12th one, which is the bends, I had a near miss. So they include, number one is the most prevalent, is sunburn, and more than that, skin cancer.
Right.
I've had
I've had both. Does that count as one or two? Because I got.
Yeah, I mean, raise your hand if you've had multiple sunburns in your lifetime.
Yep, we got that.
As a kid. So stings, bites, and scrapes is number 2.
Yeah.
Bruised toes is number 3, which hurt like a mother.
Yeah.
When you shave your toes with a fin that's too tight. Bruised legs from doing a giant stride and hitting the water a little off.
Right.
Lower back pain, sore ribs from your BC being too tight, TMJ from clenching your regulator too hard, and other like that. Sinus barotrauma, mask and nose squeezes, broken blood vessels in your eyes, which look awful, but are not. Don't prevent you from diving.
Right. Unless you do it to your student who happens to be a model. Yeah. Which, that's another story for another day there, Gil. But yeah, it sounds like I've done all of those. So,
and then number 11 is nitrogen narcosis, and number 12 is a bend. So I'll explain all of those to the lay audience at the seminar. I'll give prevention tips for each one. We'll take Q&A, and I hope you guys can come and see it.
Yeah, I look forward to it. A lot of the stuff, you'd think like, oh, yeah, you're right. How do I avoid that? Well, like the bruised toe thing. Just don't kick Barry in the butt when you see him. I know everybody's tempted, but that may be more of a Scuba Radio issue with our Scuba Squad members. But yeah, you'll learn much more practical stuff from Gil in his seminar. And by the way, what are the times of yours next week?
My seminar is 3:00 on Sunday.
On Sunday, okay.
Sunday.
There you go.
Carly's got 2. She'll talk about those.
Well, Carly, welcome to Scuba Radio. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Let's go through the first one. So your first seminar is called what? What do you think?
The Adventure versus Experience Conundrum.
I like it. Yeah.
No, she's using big words. She's using big words.
Okay. All right.
We'll sound it out for you later, Casey.
Yeah. You might have to dumb it down a little bit for this crew.
Don't drag the show down, Casey.
Yeah, but Carly, you actually specialize or have done a lot of solo traveling as a diver. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I travel a lot, and I travel on my own a lot, and so I have done a lot of solo diving as well.
So that's how these seminars came to be, just from your experience of doing this on your own, or what?
Well, it's a much longer story that I'm going to have to nutshell here. I experienced burnout at work shortly after the pandemic and booked a one-way flight to Cairo.
Wow.
And proceeded to not come back for about 2 years. And
by choice, you weren't kidnapped or nothing.
No, it was definitely by choice.
Okay.
Spending about a month at a time in each country, and I started my own underwater cinematography business while I was doing that.
Yeah.
And I've been working on that ever since.
That is so cool. I mean, I hear stories like this, and I'm like, gosh, when I was there, there's no way in hell I'd ever do that. But you meet more and more people doing that these days. I mean, I think it's a generational thing in your age group. I'm assuming you're much younger than old farts like Barry and Casey and Jerry.
Old farts, you just had your birthday and
Shush, quiet. Moving on. But Carly, I mean, is that a common thing you see amongst your age group too, you think, or what?
Well, I did meet a lot of people doing the same thing. There's a term, digital nomad, people who work remotely and travel the world. And I was meeting people doing that in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
So I don't just think that it's my age group.
Right. Well, yeah, but we're way over that.
But you got to have a very adventuresome personality to do that. Just to stop everything.
I admire it. I very much do.
Or sell it all up and take what's on your back and go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, is it kind of a certain mentality you have to adapt to or adopt to kind of go there, or is just in your heart and soul, that's how you found yourself to be all the time?
Well, my mom planted the travel bug early. I was 11 when she took me to Germany. But I don't know. I think it was one small step at a time. I had little to no plan besides booking that flight and just being like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much past that. I just knew that I was going to ask my guide in Egypt after I was traveling with a group of women for about 2 weeks. And when everyone else went home, I knew that I was going to go diving. And I didn't know where, I didn't know how. And I asked him where I should go. And he set me up with a friend of a friend, which is usually what happens. I've learned that through numerous adventures is meeting locals, that they have friends of family members who know people who can give you discounts, who say, oh, go here or try this.
Right. Yeah, that is so cool, though. And so you're going to share some of this wisdom that you've learned over the last few years doing just that. And and so part of it is about solo traveling, like what you've been doing. And the other thing is like getting out of the office rat race kind of thing. That you kind of found yourself in that position too, to beat the doldrums.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm gonna go travel the world. Suck it, losers.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you tell everybody back home, right?
Well, I try not to.
Well, you're better than us.
She knows not to burn her bridges.
Yeah.
But I am going to be focusing on adventure versus experience, which is a concept that was introduced to me by a couple in Belize during a surface interval on a dive boat in the Caribbean. And they were talking about how, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello.
gotcha.
Hello.
Yeah, I know. She's looking at the picture of Jerry the Diver Guy. I was like, he looks like he's falling asleep. No, he's not. That's how he looks all the time, Carly.
Get him his drugs.
Yes, we'll be back with more next. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
Hi, this is Joe, a dive instructor on the Turks and Caicos Explorer 2. You are listening to Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
I'm a free bitch.
I'm known for spicing up the briefings by dressing up, and apparently this guy has dubbed me the Lady Gaga of the Seven Seas. Honestly, I think he's a little jealous. Greg the Dive Master, take it away, fancy boy.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. Oh, fancy boy Greg here, the dive master, helping things
That was
out.
before your birthday, Greg. You're Pappy now.
I'm a Pappy boy?
Pappy, just Pappy.
Just Pappy. Like the bourbon.
Fancy
Pappy
boy.
Van
Like
Winkle.
Pappy Boyington.
I don't know what you're saying,
Crappy
Double boy,
Boynton.
but I'm just
Come
going to
on,
move
Greg.
right along. We got a special guest. We got Gil and Carly. They're giving seminars at the Scuba Show next week, giving us a little preview. If you're unfortunate enough, you're not on the West Coast. We're traversing,
Countless miles.
well, all across the country. We're flying out from Florida all the way over there. So, but I can't wait. But you get a little idea of some of the seminars that they're offering. Carly she's been traveling the world the last few years, going to share some of that wisdom she's gained, especially, as a solo diver in that regard. And first off, I know this goes without saying, but this is something you would highly recommend to anybody if they have a little bit of that adventurous spirit inside them. You think there, Carly, or what?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, and you want to just kind of share that experience with everybody that comes sees your seminar and inspire them to do more of the same, I guess, right? Or maybe you're just trying to recruit more dive buddies. Is it a little bit of both? Maybe?
Yeah, just a little. It's a conspiracy.
There you go. Well, you got to look out for number one, too. Okay, so the seminar, there's two of them. There's one talking mostly about the solo diving, and the other seminar is what you were like. You were working before the pandemic, and you were pulling your hair out like everybody else. Like, there has to be more to life than this. And you like jumped into the adventure of traveling, or what? What's the other seminar about exactly?
Right. So adventure versus experience. It's a concept that was introduced to me by a couple from one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which one. We were on a surface interval dive boat in the Caribbean, and they were telling me about how they had been married in French Polynesia, and they were telling me about how difficult that was and having to get all their documents translated into French. And I said, "Wow, you guys must really like adventure." And the husband goes, "No, no, no. We don't like adventure. We like experiences." And I thought, "Oh, that's interesting. Please explain, what's the difference?" And kind of we came to the agreement that experiences are like canned adventures where the experience, all of the variables are controlled. It's like going to Disney World and you have someone to pick you up at the airport, they drive you to the hotel. Everything is in a controlled, exciting experience, and it's still fun, but there's no danger of missing your train at the train station
Right.
or right.
Yeah, it's not the Jimi Hendrix Adventure.
Yeah, no, it's
Or-
not
or-
that.
It would be an adventure if you did miss the train, and now you had to find out another way to get from point A
Well,
to
that's a
point B.
different type of adventure. So are
Yeah,
you?
but
Are,
That's what traveling's all about.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
something can happen.
You got to go with the flow. You're a diver. You got to roll with the punches sometimes. You can only plan so much. So what are you encouraging people to go under that structure, or go more loosely and just go with the flow? And hey, it's not as scary as you think. Is that where you're going exactly, or what?
Well, see, this is why it's a conundrum, is I think that there are pros and cons to each. I
Right.
have been obsessing over this topic for the last 2 years. I've been thinking about it. And I do believe I have a personal preference that I will be sharing in my seminar.
Yeah.
But I'd like to examine both, really, and talk
Mhm.
about, why I think both are great and the cons to both. And the cons to my own preference, we experienced literally, well, we had the cons. We're in Milan right now.
Yeah.
And we experienced the pros and cons to both an experience and adventure in like the last 3 days.
Well, there you go. And
Like bugs.
no, not bugs. I mean, they don't eat bugs in Milan.
No, not eat them, but there might be a bug in your room or something.
Well, that
might be a con.
Okay, that could be. But no, here's the
Trying to
thing.
explore all.
I mean,
Greg.
you're right. People are different, though. I'm like, when I prepared for a dive trip, I almost go overboard. Like when we went to the Galapagos a few weeks ago, I was packing like 3-4 weeks prior. Brittany, the aqua gypsy, she made a special point of like, I will not pack for anything until the night before, hours before I got to go. She likes to just roll the dice, where I'm much more like, I like a little structure with the idea of knowing that all hell's going to break loose and it's not going to go how I plan it, but I'll plan it out as much as I can. And then when
You mean like someone's sleeping in? You're
yes,
supposed to pick them up.
True.
He's like Rain Man.
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
like
so
Rain
we'll
Man.
talk about that in an hour or two.
Walkers on.
But the thing is you have to go in with the attitude like, okay, you can plan as much as you want, but life does not follow your plan sometimes, and you got to roll with it and that kind of thing. So I try to work with contingencies and things like that, and keep a good open mind to going with the flow, which I think is what you're saying. There's that adventure of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I got to call a dive shop and go. I mean, she's kind of more of that free spirit. Wouldn't
That's
you
more
agree?
fun. You just figure it out.
I agree. I think there's a little bit of both.
It's like on all my trips, you plan for the adventure, but whatever happens outside of that is part of the adventure and stories to tell.
True. You plan to dive with Casey the tobacco nut, or you avoid it at all costs if you're
And then
sane.
you don't have any stories to tell.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I think the experience
Your life
part
is boring.
Okay.
is when you're planning everything. When you're
Yeah.
planning everything, that's the experience.
Yeah.
And when something goes south, then it becomes an adventure.
All the adventure, no extra charge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there's no question. If you,
Like diving with Greg in the Galapagos and then coming back with a black eye.
right.
Yeah.
Vinny, 2 tanks. Yeah, Vinny,
No, I'm not.
guys.
That
Yeah,
was his
well.
adventure.
That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, Gil, you have a comment about that too? You support Carly on this idea as well? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So is this the first year, presentation that you're doing there, Carly, at the Scuba Show, or have you done this kind of thing before? Okay. All right.
Well, it's my first time presenting at the Scuba Show.
Yeah.
But I have public spoke before.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Speaking.
Well, yeah, we have too, and we're still terrible. So
maybe Vinny can give a talk sometime.
Oh, that would be something. What do you think?
That would be, wouldn't it?
What would you say, Vinny?
About
that's
what?
about it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, talk about how not to fall down in the bottom of the dive boat.
I could talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, most of them we can't talk about on the air, though.
But I do have a tip for Carly. I would go visit La Scala while you're in Milan.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Is that,
okay, La Scala.
What is that?
La Scala. It's the oldest opera house in Europe.
The old opera house.
Okay.
Oh, Vinny sharing culture. Look at
I've
that.
even heard of that, Greg. Where
Yeah.
you been?
Yeah, Valhalla. Yeah, of course I've heard of it.
That's not what he said.
What? No, that's
Piscala.
Yeah.
Piscala.
Oh, yeah, it's a kind of fish, pescado. Is that
There
what
you
it's
go.
Okay.
It'll be a real experience.
Yeah, what are you doing there in Milan? Just hanging out as a young traveler does? Or,
Well, I'm actually in Italy with my boyfriend. We were here for the Grand Prix.
Oh, okay. So you're getting a little preview. That's like Formula One, right? I'm not a big racer.
Yeah.
So she's getting a little
Formula
preview
One.
of the DEMA show in Vegas because the Formula One's going to be happening at the end of the DEMA show in Las Vegas. You know about that, Carly? Did you know that?
I have, yeah. And I heard they had problems with the track with potholes.
Oh well, that just makes the
that's typical America.
That'll make the add more adventure, uncertainty. That's the kind of thing she's into and talking about next week at the Scuba Show. Look, we'll be there. We'll check them out, report accordingly. But if you're at the event, make sure you look up Gil and Carly for these seminars. They're just a couple of seminars of many that you can partake in at the show. ScubaShow.com. All right, hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving is on deck. We're heading to the Florida Keys, and we'll tell you about it next. Stay close.
To be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio. Let's go! Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio.
This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters? Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.
Oh, hello there. Don't be alarmed. We're just preparing your listening device for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We do this, of course, by filling your radio with water. Don't worry, we're professionals. Thanks to me, you won't even get wet. You see, I've crammed every appendage of my body into the cracks and crevices of your radio, ensuring an airtight seal. By the way, don't touch your on-off knob. That's a very sensitive area. Anyway, I should remind you, we believe in the buddy system just like diving, so don't listen alone. Call your buddy and tell them that Scuba Radio is about to begin.
We're gonna start a new life under the sea.
So, am I gonna drown?
Of course not. Just stay calm and let the gentle currents relax your every muscle.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Did it just get warmer?
There'll be no accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Where the hell are the sharks?
And now, here's your dive guide for Scuba Radio, Greg the Dive Master.
And welcome to hour 2 of the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. CJ and Bubble Boy are in the studio with me. Scuba Radio, Scuba Squad connected via the web. Barry the Bugger, Vinny Two Tanks, Casey the Tobacco Nut, Jerry the Diver Guy, even the Aqua Gypsy has joined us for hour 2. We're going to check in with her in just a bit because we got a big plan for next week's show we're going to tell you about. But before we do that, I got Mike Goldberg on the line from iCare down there in Florida Keys. And I've been wanting to bring him on the last couple weeks to kind of recap the iCare Trash Derby that took place a few weeks ago down there, collecting trash all up and down the Florida Keys with hundreds of divers, like 700 free dive spots they gave away for divers willing to help them out. So I wanted to get a recap directly from Mike to see how it went. First off, Mike, welcome. And what do you think? Was it a huge success as expected or what? What do you think?
It was off the chain, man. It was
excellent,
fabulous. We had so many people up and down the Keys. I think grand total, not divers and non-divers alike, we were well over 800 people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, we went down there earlier this week and talked to Lisa there at the History of Diving Museum. She said, yeah, it was a huge success. I wish I could have been down there, but it was conflicting with a 35-year wedding anniversary that I had to cover. So I wasn't able to come down there, but maybe next year we'll make it happen because that was the 3rd annual, I believe, right? And so we're poised to do this again next year, I hope. What do you think?
We are poised to do it again next year. I get to sit in front of the Tourist Development Council and beg for money, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, you did good this year, so hopefully they'll see the successful event like it was and want to repeat it again for next year. How much trash did you end up collecting, you figured? You got numbers, or what can you tell us? Yeah,
and we collected just over 14,000 pounds in 2 days.
Wow. That's a lot of crap. Yeah.
That's a lot of crap.
Yeah.
That's a lot of crap.
Yeah. And it's sad it's down there, but at least you got that much out. That's good. And that's good for everybody, whether you're a diver or not.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
you're very welcome.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from the shore. It's not all underwater. A lot of people, there's a lot of participants pulling stuff from the shoreline, the mangrove islands.
Right.
Stuff floats up. I mean, there's a lot of anchors and chain, and I think we in total, I know we pulled out over 100 anchors in 2 days. Up and down the Keys, which is that's all on the bottom, and
how about that?
Snarled into a coral reef, and we got to pull that out because next storm that comes along, it's just going to roll those anchors and ruin the corals that we have, and the work that we're doing to try to restore the reef gets ruined and runs into nurseries, and it's not a place for that stuff.
I gotcha. Well, that's good. What do you think about that, CJ?
Balls and chains. And speaking of wedding anniversaries,
Greg,
I hope you can make it next year, Greg.
Priorities, Greg. Priorities.
Right. Well, it could happen. But yeah, it's
excuse me.
It's a great effort that you do, and hats off to you and your team, Mike, for sure. I mean, what a cool event. And then on top of everything else, I mean, it's not just good for the divers, it's good for everybody. Whether you live in the Keys or not, getting that trash out of the environment. I mean, that's just a good way to do it. And the fact that you gave away like 700 dive spots on the boats and filled up all the boats up and down the Florida Keys. I mean, you get to do your favorite pastime and help the environment at the same time. I mean, it's just a win-win-win every way that you look at it. I'm impressed with what you pulled off there, bud. Good stuff.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate me. Yeah, of course, the ocean wins, the tourists win, the residents win, the businesses win. Everyone's a winner when we have a clean environment.
Right.
The tourists need to come here. They don't want to look at garbage when they're underwater. They don't want to see all the rope and anchor. No way. They want to see a pretty reef. And the people that are walk up and down the shoreline and they don't want to see all the floating debris coming to shore.
Right.
They want to see a clean shoreline as well. So
it's good for tourism.
It's a win for
the Keys. No
Absolutely
doubt about it. Yeah. Now you mentioned the anchors. When I know when they do cleanups like this, whether it's at the beach or underwater, it's amazing some of the stuff they pull up. Were there any kind of surprising things like, holy crap, where did this come from? Did you have any of those moments or what do you know?
Yeah, we had. So over the last 2 years, we have pulled out some of the most bizarre, crazy things. Unexploded ordnances.
Oh, wow.
A more bizarre one.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a pair of pink BB guns. We even had the kitchen sinks. We had everything, including the kitchen sink. Someone pulled up a kitchen sink. I don't know where the hell they found that.
Yeah.
It was just some crazy stuff. 55-gallon drum of biohazardous material.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Where did this stuff come from? And then the stuff you would expect,
Yeah.
boat pieces and tires and
flotsam and
crap like
jetsam.
that. too.
Yeah. Yeah. But you found some unexploded ordinances. Was that this year?
Yeah.
Really?
That was last year.
Last year.
That was
my God.
That was the craziest one. Now they had to call in the bomb squad. They didn't even touch it.
I was going to say, hey, I think I got a piece of garbage down here, but it might explode in my face. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but it kind of makes things interesting, and in a way too. I've seen, that's pretty bizarre what you brought up. I was expecting to hear stuff like, I've been, on one of these things, and they pulled up like lawn chairs and things like that, which you don't expect to see, in the bottom of.
How about this one?
Yeah,
this one was the winner. It was a bird cage, and in the bird cage was a stuffed monkey.
Oh. What?
Duh.
Yeah, well, yeah. What else would be in there? I don't know.
Exactly.
Jeez. All right. Well, hey, I'm glad you got it out of there. As cool as that might be to see underwater, I don't think that's good for the reef. And I mean, that monkey needs to be free. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Of course, they won the most unique item award. So.
Okay. Yeah, and all kinds of crazy categories for this thing. You're making it a festive event. I love it. It was the iCare Trash Derby. And, look up iCare. It's iCare.org, I believe. Isn't the website for the organization, too?
I care about coral.org.
I care about coral.org. Okay, there you go. All right, Mike Goldberg, the man.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Next year, same time.
All right.
May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have still that same conflict.
Oh, you're busy again.
But you know what? It won't be an even. It'll be 36 instead of 35.
Yeah, who cares?
That's like puberty.
I'll put in a word with the missus now. I'm trying to see if I can clear it out. Or I'll bring her with me. Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Good stuff, Mike. Congrats, dude. And thanks for the update. Good work.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thanks for the time, guys.
There you go. Mike Goldberg, I Care. Great organization. What a cool event that is, though, isn't it? I mean, it's I really wish we could have done that. All the crew were asking me, hey, Greg, do we need to book our free spot on the dive boats? And I'm like, yeah. And none of you guys, you didn't do it. You were waiting on me, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're our leader.
I was out of town with you.
You were? No, I was celebrating.
When was that?
That was my anniversary weekend, remember?
No.
I said, you guys go down without me. I don't think I can work this out. And then you're like, oh, we can't go without you. You're our leader.
No, I didn't say that.
Fearless
I'd be happy
leader.
to go without you.
Fearless? I don't know if I'm fearless. Yeah. All right, look, we'll talk about real leaders next. I think we got Catmull DiMartini and the Aqua Gypsy with us. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Power, simplicity, reliability. It's what you demand of your dive computer, and Shearwater delivers. Shearwater evolved out of one tech diver's need for a reliable, easy-to-use rebreather dive computer and quickly became the tech market leader. Now recreational divers have taken notice. The Shearwater Taric is the best, most intuitive, and reliable wristwatch-sized dive computer on the market. Check it out in the entire line at shearwater.com. Shearwater, dive computers for demanding divers.
How, when, and where it's made has never been more important than now. Just ask all those divers and dive shops that struggled to get products and parts during the pandemic. One relatively new gear manufacturer, however, managed quite well. Nex is one of the few, if not only, dive gear manufacturers to bring regulator and design assembly back to the USA. No shortages during the pandemic for their customers and dealers. And get this, Nex was a Tester's Choice winner in Scuba Lab for 2022 and a Best Buy in 2023. Each Nex regulator system is made to order, cutting down on overhead and allowing you to get exactly what you need for the kind of diving you prefer. This will be the last regulator you'll ever need, since the modular design can easily be modified as your diving skills and preferences evolve over time. Are you ready to make your next dive your best dive? Then go to nextdive.com. That's nexdive.com. Next Underwater Products. nexdive.com.
Scuba action star Mike Scott is back in a new audiobook, Cayman Cowboys, Reefs Under Pressure. From author Eric Douglas comes the one that started it all. Listen as Mike deals with submarines, kidnapping, betrayal, and more.
He didn't even have fins or a mask to let him see in the water. He was going to be slow and blind. If it weren't for the float, he knew there would be no way he would ever make it to the surface.
Download Cayman Cowboys or Oil and Water, Return to Cayman, Turks and Chaos, and Lionfish at Amazon, booksbyeric.com, and audible.com.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
So I'm going to eliminate Scuba Diver. When I was watching her there on the Secret Studio, her mouth expressions didn't say singer to me. I think Scuba Diver is a bad singer.
So Scuba Diver, let's see your
I need a hero! I'm holding up for a hero till the end of the night. And he's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be fast, and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero!
You
were wonderful!
You were wonderful because you were awful! Scuba Diver, you just won Loretta $10,000! Please give it up for the Scuba Diver.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We can dive. We may not be able to sing. I mean, I can't. I'm not talking about myself, of course. But what are you looking at me like that, CJ?
You're a terrible singer.
What? I'm a scuba diver.
Auto-tune can fix anything.
I'm just being honest, man.
All right, fair enough.
Friends got to tell the truth.
No, you don't. Lie straight to their faces.
Why?
Because you don't want to.
I don't want you to embarrass yourself. I mean, anymore.
Don't take the wind out of my sails. Come on now.
Too late.
Got CJ and Bubble Boy in the studio, busting balls as usual. And Scuba Radio, Scuba Squad connected via the web. Barry the Bugger, Benny Two Tanks, Casey the Tobacco Nut, Jerry the Diver Guy. And now we have some real heroes that we look up to as in the diving community, and that'd be the Aqua Gypsy Brittany and Camel DiMartini. They're all dressed up too. Look at you guys. You know, Walt's wearing his Gomez Hilton attire and styling like nobody's business.
Here comes the awkward part.
And
Go
then
ahead.
what? What do you mean? And Brittany, she's all dressed up too. What is this, a Memorial Day weekend event at the Gomez Hilton, Brittany, or what? What's going on over there? What do you think?
It's a Gomez Hilton today. It's Claudia's birthday, so we're having a big extravaganza.
I love it. So you guys are all dressed up, ready to blow it out and celebrate a friend's birthday on Memorial Day. It sounds like. So what a great venue. I mean, it's like, you know, in a lot of hotels they have big ballrooms you can rent for events like this. At the Gomez Hilton, they just take over the entire property, and it turns into a massive block party. What a cool thing! And you can't just show up. You got to know somebody. You got to be somebody like the Aqua Gypsy, and we know her. We know her.
If she'll admit it.
I don't know. Will you, Brittany? What do you think?
I don't know if she'll cop to that.
She
Just
will.
the people in the video, yeah.
Yes. Okay. She'll vouch for us. But yeah. Now, okay. So next week, we're going to be in Long Beach, or I should say, L.A. actually, for the Scuba Show. So we've had to work ahead on the production schedule for Scuba Radio. So next week's show is going to feature a road trip with CJ, myself, and the Aqua Gypsy running down to the Florida Keys to dive with Captain Slate. And we had quite the adventure, did we not, Brittany? You enjoyed yourself. You survived it.
I think we did, yeah. It wasn't just diving. We went to the Diving Hall of Fame and had a wonderful time.
It was so much fun. And I think we captured it. It's going to be good. So the first hour.
You'll hear it.
The Florida Keys. And we don't say suck it losers too much. But I'll tell you, the diving that we had earlier this week and talked about that'll air next Saturday was some of the best dives I've had in the Florida Keys.
Absolutely.
And that's
That was only
30 years.
Tuesday morning.
Yeah, just Tuesday morning we went out with Captain Slate, got to dive with the man himself, and the viz was great. There was like no waves. I mean, it was we had our own boat.
Critters are friendly.
Yeah, it was a good time. Was that one of your favorite Keys dives you've ever done there, Brittany? What do you think? What would you?
Yeah, just the visibility was so incredible.
Yes, it was really, really good. I mean, it can always, the thing is, it changes day to day. You just never know. Like, so on Monday, we got blown out. We had some storms roll through, and it was way too windy. It was going to be
That's fine.
rough.
That's why God made Tuesday.
He said, well, Slate just said, well, just wait a day. And so we hung around, went to the History of Diving Museum, spent some quality time looking at the exhibits, setting up a plan for Scuba Radio's 30-year anniversary, by the way. There's a little teaser for you. But and Brittany gives the eye roll that you could see on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. But no, we did. We had a little chat. You'll hear about that next week on the show. But yeah, we took advantage of the downtime or the surface interval and explored the Florida Keys, had some great food, and hung out. And then we got to dive with Captain Slate. We might have had a beer or two. Yeah, even Barry showed up.
Even Barry showed up. And despite
that, we had a great time.
Well, because he didn't dive.
Well, true. I don't know if that would have mattered. Would it? If he would have dove, would it have made it any better or worse?
I'm not carrying his gear.
Yeah.
He probably didn't drink either.
No,
No, that's not true.
He had a beer. Oh, he's a wild man.
One beer.
Oh, my God.
Easy.
Cut him off.
And CJ drank out of a can.
Yeah, no, he had one beer and left and checked himself into rehab.
He had to get back He had to get back home to paint the house.
The funny thing was is that when I got there, we had a delicious brunch, and then we spoke to Slate for a while, and then they decided that the lightning out there was not a good thing to dive in. So then Brittany said, let's go over to the Islamada beer or whatever it was and have a beer. And I go, we just ate breakfast. Yeah, let's go get a beer. So we went there.
Well, to quote the infamous Captain Walt Martini, you can't drink all day if you don't start first thing in the morning.
That's right. And we did. Exactly. And then after that, Brittany and I went over to Papa Joe's because that was the place I met my sweetheart 41 years ago.
Wow. Did you have a drink there too?
No, I didn't know it was there because it was torn down.
Oh,
the original one was gone. The last time we were there was just flat land. And then someone said, oh, let's go to Papa Joe's. And I looked at them. I said, are you kidding? It's rebuilt. And they said, yeah. So we went over there, checked it out because they were going to eat dinner there that night. And then we went across the street to, what's it called? Lazy
Days.
Lazy Days. And they wanted to eat again. And I said, we just ate. And they said, oh, this is like lunch. And I go,
that was
but
like
you're
a late
eating
lunch.
dinner.
Yeah, that was
in 2 hours. You're eating dinner. So we ate again.
Barry is nothing if not spontaneous.
Yeah, well, they are spontaneous.
Yeah, we are.
I am not spontaneous.
You got to go with the flow, and especially when you're
flowing,
in the Keys.
that's for sure.
I did have a little. I went down there with a
drink.
Quiet. I went down there with a purpose. I wanted to get my dive gear, especially the BC, back in the water after we had spent some time in the Galapagos. I wanted to do some warm water diving, and I realized I was still having an issue with my BC. Now we'll talk about that coming up because I found out a solution because it was still not fitting the way I had hoped. What are you laughing at?
Yeah.
Johnson, come on.
You really want to ask me that?
Yeah, what, the crotch strap?
Yeah, he was digging in his ass.
Wait a minute. No, I wasn't.
He was digging in his ass.
I had it adjusted where the D-ring was down by an area that I didn't think it was supposed to be.
I was laughing my ass off.
We'll talk more about it next. Stay close.
Scuba Radio. Scuba Radio.
Come as a guest, leave as a friend. It's a philosophy that comes from the top down at Explorer Ventures liveaboards. It doesn't matter if you're traveling solo, with a buddy, or group. Explorer Ventures does the liveaboard dive experience right. For proof, know Explorer Ventures has one of the best repeat customer stats in the dive industry. They're also the official liveaboard company of ScubaRadio. You've likely heard us talk about Explorer Ventures ScubaRadio scuba cruise trips many times, and we invite you to join us on the next one. However, whether we're on board with you or not, I'll bet an Explorer Ventures liveaboard trip will be one of the best dive experiences you've ever had. It just doesn't get any better. Saba St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, the Galapagos, Maldives, Indonesia, humpback whales, and the Silver Banks, new destinations and itineraries are being added all the time. Call one of their talented travel consultants to find the Explorer Ventures liveaboard experience that's just right for you. 1-800-322-3577. That's 1-800-322-3577. Or visit explorerventures.com. That's explorerventures.com.
Prepare to rig for dive! Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
I don't know why it is that all of us are so committed to the sea. I think it's because we all came from the sea. And it is an interesting biological fact that all of us have in our veins the exact same percentage of salt in our blood that exists in the ocean. And when we go back to the sea, we are going back from whence we came.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. I am Greg the Dive Master. Okay, so we go down to the Florida Keys. We're going to hear this show next week. We don't really talk about, why we did this. I mean, there's no,
why
really
not?
Yeah, I was going to say you don't really need a reason, but I was on a mission to get some new dive gear in the ocean. I wanted to, dive in some warm water, and so we went down to the Florida Keys with my next dive kit.
So it was mainly about the crotch strap thing.
It wasn't all about the crotch strap. The crotch strap pointed out an adjustment issue that I was having with the BC that I was using.
Trial and error.
Well, yeah, because I'm not used to using a Tech BC. It was brand new. It wasn't adjusted, wasn't fitted to me, so I had a lot of extra, webbing and stuff. I like the crotch strap. I had a 2-inch wide crotch strap, and Brittany is laughing hysterically right now. I mean, the crotch strap, when it's adjusted properly, is fine.
You like the crotch strap?
Well, who doesn't like a crotch strap?
Last week.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wait. What last week?
We beat that to death last week. If we're going to do that again,
yeah. Thank you, Vinny.
Well, no, I'm just saying there was one point during our dive in the Keys where I was sitting there and it wasn't fitting right. I didn't feel that it was secure. Well, yeah. I reached down and I noticed I had a D-ring down by my exit port.
But we don't need to know.
Well, I was like, wait a minute. There's not supposed to be a D-ring down there, is there?
You didn't enjoy it?
Well, no. And I was like,
Brittany,
what
would you
would
take
be
this
the point of
D-ring
that?
and move it for me?
No, I was behind him, and I just started laughing.
I bet you were behind me.
I started laughing my ass off because I just saw you back there just digging. I was like, what is he doing?
I'm diddling with my D-ring is what I was doing.
Oh, you're a diddler.
I was trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this. Diddler. And I'm like, something's not right. You're not supposed to have a D-ring down by your,
You didn't realize it was there before?
No, I didn't have it there. For some reason, I moved the straps around trying to adjust it.
Thing.
Aren't you sitting down before you, stand up on the boat?
Well, yeah, kind of, but maybe I didn't notice. I was, I was futzing with it. I was trying to adjust the BC a little bit.
With it?
Just quiet. That's a technical
He's
term.
doing a little Yiddish.
Come
now.
on. And so, but obviously I didn't have something adjusted right because the D-ring's not supposed to be there. It should be further forward, I think. Yeah.
So now, did you change? You had apparently loose nuts on your back plate.
No, we're not going to talk about any nuts.
Don't talk about his loose nuts.
Yeah.
So did you change those out to nylon nuts that will not loosen up on you?
No, they did not loosen up, but they were still too loose. My back plate was, loose. It wasn't like.
Well, it's not like you waited till the last second to do any adjustments on the dive boat.
Well, no, just on the webbing. I mean, what I noticed, the back plate, it was locked down. They weren't going to come loose, Barry, but I didn't have them tightened down. They were still a little too much give in the back plate.
So there was too much give in your nuts.
Okay, that's enough.
He's just waiting for that.
All right. Yeah. Long story short, but too late at this point. I have talked to Jared at Next Dive, and we're going to do a fitting at the Scuba Show next week.
So you're going to bring your toy with you.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have one of the BCs, and he goes, yeah, we send these out sometimes, and he, mine came unassembled. So I had to put it all together, and I'm not used to putting these things
together. And you're still alive. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I had it literally loosely fitted, and it worked fine in the Galapagos because I'm wearing a 5mm wetsuit, but fit is important. And even then, I was kind of like, yeah, something doesn't feel quite right. I mean, it came loose once. Man, big deal. We fixed it and got through the week, and it was fine. But I still felt a little off because it didn't feel that the BC was really cinched up properly where, you're diving and, I could feel it, my tank rocking around on me a little bit. Like I didn't have the BC cinched down properly, and I didn't. And now, and that was very apparent in the keys. So we're going to kind of, customize it and stuff because I have all this extra webbing. I mean, BC like this, you could be someone like Barry and where you need a little extra stretch or, extra webbing or don't look at me like that, Barry. Yes, it's a fat joke. But or you may be more svelte like me and where you have to have it,
svelte is a word means soft.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you could have gotten this all set up while you were at Walt's in his pool.
Incorrect. You're incorrect, sir. That is not what I said. I mean, Brittany knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
She totally understands that I'm 100% correct. Right, Brittany?
No, in Next Dive's defense,
what?
We're talking about a guy that can't even put a low-pressure hose into a first stage and has a lot of significant difficulty putting his hoses in first stages.
Okay, Brittany's been drinking, obviously.
No, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, this happens at the Gomez Hilton. She's talking nonsense.
I can back her up.
He does get lost every time he goes anywhere.
All right. Walt DeMartini will back me up. I know Captain Walt knows.
No, he's not.
Walt, what do you?
Hey, listen, I got to run, guys. Great seeing you, and talk to you soon.
You got it. Captain Walt, he has to go manage a party.
Peace out.
Yeah, I understand. But I know he understands where I'm coming from too. Unlike Brittany, Brittany's just making a joke. I mean,
I know what she's talking about.
What do you mean? I know how to put a pressure gauge into a first stage. I did that. It just took me a few attempts. That's all.
Cross threading doesn't count, Greg.
What, Brittany?
What is the wrench called, Greg?
What is the what?
The wrench that you use?
The wrench. A wrench.
Allen. Say Allen.
No, the Allen wrench is what you use to get the porthole.
Crescent.
The crescent wrench?
Yeah. Open end wrench.
There's two different wrenches you use, yeah.
Well, you can.
Well, hopefully you're not using a crescent wrench to break it loose. Because you will strip it.
Because the crescent will move, especially if it's a cheap one.
That's all
the correct size one.
Yeah,
Either
it's all we had
or
available.
9/16, I think.
Yeah, it was fine.
It wasn't the fact that he was having a lot of difficulty. It was the fact that he waited till the last possible second.
Wait, hold on. No, wait, that was your wrench.
No, I said we could have taken care of it here at the studio. No, what we'll do when we get there. Then it could have been that night we get to Waltz. No,
we did it on the dive boat before we left the dock.
Get
it was
on the
fine.
boat, and we're getting ready to leave, and we need to ask for tools.
No, it was fine. It was just we just needed a wrench. And
how long was the ride from the dock to your first
about a half an hour?
Site?
We had tons of time.
So you had a half an hour to put your BC on and adjust it so it would fit, and you wouldn't have a D-ring stuck up your wahoo.
No, you're talking about two different things. The BC is one issue. CJ's talking about his regulator that we had to fix
he wanted
up.
to swap something out real
quick.
quick.
Maybe he wanted to be like Brittany and wait till the last minute to get things ready.
Well, who doesn't want to be like Brittany? Everyone wants to be like Brittany.
That's right. A free spirit out there living the life.
I never forget anything.
Yeah,
If I
she never does.
packed before, I would be nervous that I forgot something. But I know when I pack on the spot, like I have everything in my head that I want to get.
Right.
But Barry brought something up earlier, and this is a conversation I want to have on the air.
Yeah.
Who still logs their dives?
Who still logs their dives?
Barry.
Barry does.
Me?
Brittany, the Aqua Gypsy, logs every single dive.
Yeah.
When it comes to myself, I've logged my dives. The first
20 years
50
ago?
of them or 100 of them or so. Beyond that, well, it's maybe not so much. But we'll find out how this applies to the rest of the crew next. Stay close.
This is the Worldwide Scuba Radio Network.
Prepare to rig for dive!
Your surface interval is complete. You're now clear to dive with Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio.
The world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Scuba Radio.
Dive, dive, dive.
I would like to extend to you an invitation to the party.
We're gonna have some fun without a dive. At the party, scuba party. Now don't stay behind, don't get left out. At the party, scuba party. Now the scuba party is here and he's here to stay. At the party, scuba party. If you want some fun, it's the only way. At the party, scuba party. We're gonna dive in and swim all about, move around just like the truck. Now at the party, a big party.
This is the world's first radio show devoted to diving. We did have a moment in the Keys. We should have captured that where we put that little scuba party song on and danced the night away.
I don't remember that.
Oh, we were hammered.
Was I there?
That was after
When did we do
after that
that?
beer or two that we had at the place. But anyway, it's just what divers do sometimes.
Like
Look-
CJ had a gun.
Yeah, you had a what? Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so fit is important when it comes to your dive gear.
Oh, right.
And we covered that.
Please.
And I'm gonna get
Right.
My BC
the
fit.
bug-
It doesn't, the quality of your gear matters a lot, but I'm telling you, the fit is even more important. You could have crappy gear if it fits right. Crappy mask if it fits right. You're gonna be a much better diver and better suited for the next dive than the quality or what brand it is and that kind of thing. Would you agree with me, Brittany? Yes, fit matters.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Jerry, the diver guy, is looking at me kind of puzzled, but he's shaking his head.
I'm
in
not looking
agreement.
at you puzzled.
He's just bored.
That's
Just
typical.
like-
What the hell?
What the hell?
You're about to put him to sleep.
The hell is this, Russia? Anyway, okay.
Talk about Jerry's shirt right now because CJ was wearing that the other day.
All right. Oh, that's right. He was wearing the Scuba Radio shirt that says, "If you die, we split your gear."
Don't do
Mhm.
stupid shh
stuff.
CJ was wearing it too.
Yes, but today, me, CJ, and Barry are wearing the same shirt from the History of Diving Museum. Brittany is not representing, but she's looking very elegant as she's preparing
I'm representing
for an event.
Memorial Day.
That's right.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, Casey the Tobacco Nut
Hoorah!
is representing America. God bless him and America for that matter. Okay, so dive logs. I've logged my first 50 to 100 dives, and that was it for me.
Captain's log.
And then, 2,000, 3,000 later, I got. But yeah, I don't log them. But Barry logs them. Brittany's a logger.
Mm-hmm.
CJ's a logger, but it has nothing to do with dive logs, I don't think.
I beg your pardon.
You've told me before how you
I
talk.
think he prefers a lager over Pilsner.
I don't think that's what we're discussing. But regardless, Yeah.
That's the brown log.
So Barry has his logbook right now, and you log every single dive. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So your last entry is, so how many dives do you have, Barry?
1998.
Yeah.
And fills in
231
every
dives.
square.
That's all I got.
How many?
Yiddish.
231.
231 dives. Okay, that's not bad. That's fine.
It should have been higher.
Should have been way higher. Okay, but you're all right. So
That's beginner.
Okay, so
what does
you
your
wanna know-
last dive say exactly?
Okay,
What do you put in your
so-
dive log?
The date was July 27th, 2022. We were on Labonte Reef.
Okay.
We are in 72 feet of water.
Right.
This was the second dive of the day.
Yeah. Your dive buddy is who?
My dive buddy ended up being you and CJ.
Oh.
Because the first dive, my dive buddy was Jerry, but
you
he
said,
couldn't
"Oh,
clear
hell
his
no."
ears. No, he
Oh.
couldn't clear his ears.
What did we
after that
dive on? I don't remember that. I'm glad.
That was horseshoe.
Lobster.
It was lobster
season.
Ah.
And we were on the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I caught all the lobsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it
say-
was pretty windy and gusty out there. We had
Right, but you're saying
wind was east,
CJ was
southeast,
wearing
10
a
to
Scuba
15.
Radio T-shirt. Greg was wearing red boxers
And a big old crotch
No,
drop.
and Jerry was wearing a
absolutely-
mankini.
They got
mankini,
D-ring
no.
in his butthole.
that stuff.
I did not have that gear then, Brittany. Just stop. That's
Oh, little baby turtle.
I put
Inappropriate.
down my starting and ending pressures. I put down the water temperature and the air temperature.
Yeah.
I put down the weights that I used.
Okay,
and what I
blah
was
blah
wearing.
blah blah blah. But any
say on
comments
CS
like?
I referred back to it.
Oh
You
well,
know,
well, I know. But do you have any comments like, "Hey, CJ and Greg, best dive buddies I've ever
No,
had"?
I put comments to dope with Greg and CJ. I caught 5 lobsters. 2 had eggs and 1 was short, and those were released. And
Yeah.
that's the dive that I was doing the Dan medical study. They had some kind of
Right. They were
attached to
tracking
me. They were
info
tracking
on
me.
lobsters. Like
And that was it.
Did you put on Got Lost with Greg or anything like that?
No, we didn't get lost
no.
on the second dive.
You know,
It
it's
didn't happen.
Once
is
we
it
got
not
one-
interesting though that the first dive his buddy was Jerry, and the second dive said, "Screw him, I'm diving with those
No,
guys."
Jerry couldn't clear his ears. He said
Oh,
clear.
right, that's what it was.
He
Got
couldn't
back
clear
on the
his ears,
boat,
so, and that
wearing
was
my
it. Yeah.
wearing my red hat, feeling cute.
The only thing I didn't like about it is that we did 2 deep dives that day, kind of shortened the day.
Well,
I mean, 68 feet
remember
on the
that's where
first
the
one and
lobster
72
were.
on the second. So.
Well, okay, yeah, they were
Okay.
deeper. Yeah. So Barry just wanted more bottom time, and by that I don't mean dive time. I mean
What?
Oh,
What?
Ooh.
back to the butthole.
Shots fired.
Watch where that D ring goes. There,
Hey,
Greggy
I'm
boy.
kidding.
Remember who?
Kind of.
He puts the
All
D in
All right.
D ring.
Is that all the stuff that you put in your dive log, Brittany? Does he have all the same thing, or do you get a little bit more personal about the people you're diving with, or what kind of things
Yeah.
do you put in your dive log?
Yeah, I say funny things. I mean,
Funny?
not that you didn't say funny things, Barry, but I say a lot of funny, like just whatever I laughed about underwater. Like, say for instance, I don't have my dive log because I'm here at this party, but
Right.
if I did and I opened it up, it would have been very funny because you would have heard me saying, CJ and I laughed because Greg had a D ring in his butthole.
Yes. Yes. See, I told you. Thank you.
But you can't
And he
laugh
couldn't dig
underwater.
it out
That's
fast
you'll
enough.
choke.
Thank you.
You'll choke. That's
I
dangerous.
know what I saw.
That's
can't
why
unsee
we
it.
follow behind you, Greg.
Yeah.
I was
I
cracking
just
up.
90 years old.
You
and
think
when
it's
I'm
your
90 years old,
leadership? We do it just for
Wait, okay, quiet.
Let the woman
Brittany
speak.
say it again, Brittany. You cut out.
No, I just want to be like 90 years old and sitting in some retirement home and like opening up my dive log and just laughing when I'm older. Like, wow, I did that. Wow, that was really funny.
Yeah, remember that time when Greg had a D ring down by his
stuck
nether
up his
regions?
butthole.
Quiet. That's.
I thought it
enough.
was to attach your safety sausage to.
He realized his safety sausage.
Okay, that's just stop.
In that case, he gonna
All
die.
right, that's enough.
Yeah.
That is enough.
He gonna die.
If we pull on that D ring, will
Go,
you
quit it. Just stop already.
It's like an automatic.
Well,
think
now
we
that
get
she'll
the
have that
idea.
memory in her logbook from
Yes.
when she's old.
Well, she'll be able to reflect on that moment in time. And
She better hope that she doesn't forget where she put the blog book.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, well, yeah, you got to keep it. You log all your dives, Jerry?
No,
That's probably. a
I
good
haven't
thing.
logged a dive since I left IDC class.
Yeah.
I keep an empty logbook.
5,000 dives last. So
okay. So, Casey keeps an empty logbook.
I keep an empty logbook, so if I get on a boat and somebody goes, well, we need to know what you dove, before you do this deep dive. I run back to my room and put in, did the roan, did this, did that. Here you go.
He's a liar. Casey, the tobacco nut.
I'm a diver.
Cold hard liar.
Just have a few log sheets already made up except for the date.
Okay. That we don't encourage that. You either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
And if, the only reason not to log your dives.
This is how you do your tax returns.
No. He's an accountant,
Don't give
by the
away
way.
my tax secrets.
Yeah, log your dives.
Look at the time.
Is always preferred. But if not, you better have some proof that you know what you're doing. And if you say you're on Scuba Radio, that's not going to pass.
Okay,
muster. All right. Anyway, on that disturbing note, we're going to wrap it up till next time. Remember, it's always better. Where, gang?
Downward sweater.
Safe diving, everyone.
On the boat or down below, if you want to stay in the know. If you be pressurized there, you'll want to be there on Scuba Radio.
Scuba Radio is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Scuba Radio. This seems the logical place for fish to congregate.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past editions of Scuba Radio worldwide over the internet at ScubaRadio.com.
So we're in international waters?
Indeed so.
Tell a friend and buddy up with your radio every week for Scuba Radio, the world's first radio show devoted to diving.
Well, it's all very nice here, but we should be going. I miss me wife and me oxygen.
Yes, we all miss our loved ones and gases. Let's go.
The opinions you just heard on Scuba Radio are those of the hosts, callers, and guests.
Okay, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
Come on, quit yanking me.
Scuba diving does involve risk and should never be conducted without proper instruction and training.
Oh, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I could die.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at ScubaRadio.com.